And welcome everyone to another show of Cubfidential. I am your stand-in host, Denzel Snipes. I'm usually the producer of the show, but today I'm wearing two hats. So how's that? Um, just as a reminder before we all get started, follow us on all of our social platforms on X, formerly known as Twitter. We're also on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Our guy Jacob Christner, who we'll be bringing in just a minute, is always doing updates and commentary on TikTok. Awesome, awesome, very much needed, very much educational information. And also check out our other shows, the Sideline Sports Show. Also, for our guys at First and 56, Terrible Talk as well. Of course, this show, which you're already watching right now, Sports Business Insider, old episodes of The Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is in off season right now, but feel free to go and check out our old episodes so you can kind of get a feel of how the show is before the season comes up and we bring that hotness to you live with new shit. So, but you know what? Tonight we are going to talk Cubs baseball. I'm going to bring my guys in here. Mr. Ubbs himself, Jacob Christner, and he's back after what seems like a month. Nick Botkins, what's going on, fellas?
What's good, baby? I just been busy enjoying this Cubs first month of the season, trying not to get my hopes too high, but man, it's looking good.
It has indeed. And you know what? We'll roll right into it because as of right now, the Chicago Cubs are in first place, in which actually will lead to our final segment, our cover dub. But we'll start off with the San Diego series. So you figure the San Diego Padres, okay, they're the best record in baseball. The Cubs did drop 2 of 3 to them. But on the game on 4:15, Nico Horner's RBI triple in the 10th inning gave them their first home loss of the season. Jacob, your thoughts about this series?
See, one of the biggest things about it is it's those little situations. Like we took one, the Cubs took one. But it's those little situations where I keep talking about this. It's like, it is no question there's the offense for the Cubs. No question. I mean, you know this, Bodkins. We're at record pace. This team is at record pace right now, like insane levels. Like they have 7 games already with 10+ runs. Like, you know, and won all 3. That was both the teams had 10. It's kind of ridiculous. But what happened with the San Diego series was a lot of bullpen. And if we don't get that straight, the playoffs are going to be done early, like a couple of those Dodgers years. That's just the way, because the offense is going to keep up. I mean, I'm just imagining when the Cubs go to Colorado, it might score 25.
Yeah.
They might score 25. I mean, they are wasting really good pitching. And the Colorado's horrible pitching. So that's the thing right there. But that's just San Diego is exactly the thing that can be haunting the Cubs if they don't go into the trade deadline and go get some relief pitching. I'm talking about middle relief.
Right.
I'm cool with the Porter Hodge. He's only had a couple of bad games. I'm cool with that. Presley's been fine. Yeah, I mean, and I know there was the whole thing, but the rest of them are at like 9 ERAs.
Yeah.
8 ERAs. So it's like, that's got to stop, and this is not a consistent. They had 2 great games in Los Angeles to take that series, and then they barf against Arizona. They can't keep that, and they barf against San Diego. They can't keep a good consistency, and that's what the Cubs need.
Yeah, and you know, I'm going to swing it down to you, Botkins, but you know what? You did mention something last year, and seemingly you got your wish when you alluded to, until we fix our bullpen issues, we need run support. Well, this offense has come more than alive, and the bullpen's kind of getting the run support. I mean, is this right in line with what you were talking about last year? And if you can give your thoughts about the series.
Yeah, so my thoughts is exactly what Jacob was saying. Is really just like it's going to be a recurring theme until it gets fixed. Like the bullpen is mess, and really, you haven't been on since that's happened. Like we're going to need to go out and get a starter. Like the Cubs, like this lineup is the best lineup. This is better. This lineup right now, it's producing better than the World Series lineup. And really, top to bottom, it could end up being statistically better than the World Series team. That's how good this lineup is. This lineup, top to bottom, it can compete with the best of the best. It literally is. Like the Cubs are if you look at record wise, the Cubs are facing the cream of the crop division wise, record wise. San Diego, like even though we lost 2 out of 3, it's nothing. They're a 10+ win team right now. They're right up there. Like the Cubs are right facing the cream of the crop and handling, their business with these teams, hanging with them, and should be winning some of these games. But bullpen, closer, like these things, like the starting, like even last night's game, which we'll get into, I'm sure, man, we're scoring at a rapid pace, but like our pitching just is not stopping them. Doing what they need to do by holding them, especially the bullpen. It seems like, unless like Shota, especially maybe like in August, September, like this, we're gonna have to ask this kid to, like CC Sabathia did with the Brewers way back in the day. Like that's how I feel. Like we're gonna need to go get a bona fide back him up, and we're definitely need some middle relief guys, and it's gonna cost us good teams like the Dodgers, like the Padres. I think we'll be able to beat the bad teams, because our lineup's that good. It's hot right now. Eventually, it'll go semi-baseball, baby. But it seems like we're not just home run or bust, and that's what's so great. Kyle, pay this man. I take a line from the movie Rounders. Pay this man his money, because this guy's gonna be fucking P. Like that's just the bottom line.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And because they're the San Diego Padres and they currently, they have the best record in the majors or anything. So on one end of the spectrum, you would think, hey, it's kind of nothing to hang your head about. At least you took one. But if you're the Cubs and you want to take that next level, that next step, you got to win 2 of 3. You got to sweep the series. It is what it is. Jacob said it, and so did you, Bachens. This lineup is rivaling the 2016 team, and they're on pace to even beat them. But we'll go on to our next one here, and that is the Diamondback series. So this is a Diamondbacks team who just 2 short years ago stole the pennant. This is still a very good Arizona team out there, and it's great to take 2 out of 3 from them. Now, on 4/18, it was bananas. The Cubs managed to hang on to win despite a combined 16-run 8th-inning explosion. The Diamondbacks scored 10 runs in the top of the 8th to take a 4-run lead. And then the Cubs come right back with 6 runs to retake the lead and ultimately hang on to win. I'm going to start off with you, Bachens. This game here was nuts, but your thoughts about this and the series?
Yeah, I'm watching the game live, and I literally got to the point where, like, we scored a bunch. I think we were up like 7-1 or something like that going into the 8th. Like, and I'm just like, man, all right. And then they score all these runs in the 8th. I'm a old fashioned. I got to shut the crap off. Like, I can't handle it. And then then I keep an eye on it. Like, and then they come back. It's like, man, we should have had that game. There's no need. There should have been no need for a closer. There should have been no need for Portage to come in. But because we don't have guys that can go out and get just 3 outs in a 7-1 ball game. It's a little ridiculous. And like, again, it's just like, luckily, and it shows. But to me, it shows the resiliency, though. Like in that's even in last night's game. Like, this lineup is resilient. Like, even down, they could have been put their head between the tails, kissed their butt goodbye. And in both in that game, after the Diamondbacks scored all the games, it was like, you know what? Penn blew another one. Oh, well, but there was still, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's PCA, whether it's Nico, whether it's Tucker. It seems like every time we need something, he's, like I just said, he seems like he's alive. That lineup just continues to produce. Kelly might be the best backup, catcher there is right now. This kid he's red hot. At the play. He needs to work on his defense a little bit. Try some games, balls in that 8th inning and cost us twice. But man, it's just like resiliency, I think. And to take 2 out of 3, you take it right. Like, that's a team that went to the World Series 2 years ago, and is still a really good ball club. And you take it. You want to win the series. That's all that matters.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And we're not talking about the Chicago White Sox, where it's pretty much all of, but again,
who wants to do that?
Yeah, this is the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are a resilient team themselves. And it's funny you mentioned resiliency, because that's going to be on our next topic. But I want to swing it to Jacob here and get your thoughts about not only that game on the 18th, but also this series in general.
You brought up the White Sox. I almost fell asleep, but I'm like, it's. I mean, that's some terrible baseball there, but it's like this was one of the rare games where Porter Hodge basically blew it. But here's a piece of trivia that's funny. It's like, I believe, what was his name? The one that replaced him, Roberts. You know, that gave up the huh?
I think so.
Yeah, Roberts. He gave up a 3-run homer, and then he got the last out. There is a new / old rule that they're actually taking into account this year. I'm not kidding you. Now, every other year, if someone gets the final out and the Cubs and the players get that, and the players and the hitters get the way back, everybody would get the win. So you'd be seeing this 4-0 with a 9 ERA all the time. It's up to the scorekeeper's discretion now. So it's up to the scorekeeper's discretion. So neither Roberts nor Hodge was going to get the win because the scorekeeper said both of them were crap. The one that both of them were garbage. So they took the save away from the guy who saved it in the ninth and gave him the win.
Yeah.
So it's a new / old because it was old. Nobody did it. Now they're going through that this year. They leave it at the discretion of the scorekeeper. So it's interesting. But really, you think about this, that when you see this 13-11, you see this day, right? You look on the starting lineup, and there's 4 300 hitters now.
Yeah.
4 300 hitters on that team. They lead in the batting average. They lead in home runs. They lead in RBIs, and they lead in stolen bases. They're just absurd. And the biggest thing about this is it reminds me of when you get to a golf tournament, like a big one, the Masters or whatever, and someone just gets deflated. Like, okay, we'll just say Tiger. Tiger hits a 100-foot putt, and the guy who's facing him misses the 2-footer because he's deflated. It's like, what am I going to do here? And it's happened.
Yeah.
And the reason the Bodkins and I want the bullpen is because how long before your team just gets deflated?
Right.
How long before they get deflated? Like, okay, let's just say, the Cardinals took 6 runs they lost 2 of 3 from the Braves, but they lost 6 runs. The Braves gave up 6 runs to the Cardinals last night.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that, and they won that game, and I'm like, what if they did that to the Cubs? And I'm like, and then here's the deal, and the Cubs get 5 in the 9th and barely lost. But how often are you going to get there before one of those losses starts getting you to a 6-game losing streak?
Yeah.
Because right now it's just a hot streak. It's momentum. People are having fun. One of those days you're going to fall short. So it's going to have to take the bullpen to come in. And as far as the series in itself, that's a good Arizona team. So Cubs should have swept them, but it was of extra innings, but 2 of 3 still not bad.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what this game kind of reminded me of? Because as Bodkins alluded to, it was a 7-1 game going into the 8th inning. This kind of reminded, you're both wrestling fans, so I know you know what I'm talking about. You remember WrestleMania 31, the first time Reigns faced Lesnar, and Reigns was getting dragged the whole match, and Reigns had to wait until Lesnar made a mistake? That was kind of how it went. And then if you noticed, before Seth ran out there, Lesnar hit one more F5. That was basically the Cubs' answer in the bottom of the 8th inning. So it kind of reminded me of that. It's pretty funny. But
at this point, if we get into May and we're still doing something like this, we're going to become Logan Paul. They're going to just hate us.
At one point, yeah.
They're just going to hate us at that point. It is like, we're just going to love it.
Yeah. But you know what? Again, and Bodkins mentioned resiliency, so we're going to go on to our last night's game. The Cubs came back late to stun the Dodgers on Ian Happ's walk-off RBI single in the 10th. Amaya with a game-tying 2-out home run in the 9th where he found the basket. Tucker sent one over the wall for a 2-run shot to make it a 1-run game. Amaya hit a game-tying home run, and then Happ called game. And you mentioned resiliency, so now I got to ask the ultimate question: are the Cubs the most resilient team in baseball right now? Bockins, go ahead.
Man, I would have to think so. Like, I mean, again, they just come back today. PCA home run to go 3-2. It's like right now, like this lineup, they never have their heads down. Like they just believe, day in, like the next guy, pick the next batter up, and it's special. Like, and they keep the line moving. It's just not, like I said, it's just not home run or bust anymore. Like that was the thing I think that rode thin with like KB and Javi, that crew. Like it was like home run or nothing. These guys, PCA is hitting doubles. You know what I mean? Like Ian Happ's hitting slap singles in that game, hits a leadoff RBI single. Like, and we're playing smart baseball. They just believe in one another. We're scoring, the Bears can score touchdowns. So, like that's how good this lineup is.
You said Bears and touchdowns.
Exactly.
Like, remember, it's Caleb Williams this year, so there's not going to be a lot of touchdowns.
Well, the jury's out for the Bears this year, most definitely. But I'll swing it to Jacob and get your thoughts about last night's game.
All I can say is I love your title, Ian Happ Calls Game. And I love the title. And here's the thing: we need a mic on these guys, and someone like Ian Happ, and we need to like end this deal, and there needs to be like a little thing where it's a voice going, where the pitch is coming, game, clock.
Yeah.
and then it's like, and then we have to piss off Jeff Fry, the guy who's online and hates everything that's not 5,000 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the old baseball player. We need him to get pissed off because we have that now. But it would be kind of fun either way,
It would.
It'd be fun.
Let me ask you this.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Ian Happ's the greatest Cubs left fielder of all time.
Could be, yeah. Absolutely. And
in my lifetime, he is.
Yeah.
In my lifetime,
The big thing about it is, because truthfully, there was Moise Alou, but there's Moise Alou and everything like that, so it's pretty close. But
for as good as Alou was, he's arguably better than Alou.
I don't think Alou played 1,000 games in Cub uniform. Ian Happ played over 1,000 games for the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah. And they were talking about shopping him at one point, and I remember saying no, they need to keep Ian Happ. Remember, what was it, last year, 2 years ago?
Yeah. Then he signed the extension.
Yeah, but that's
after.
Just emotional nitwit fans. That was just emotional nitwit fans that couldn't shut up. It's they have to. Emotional nitwit fans just have to pretend that they know what they're talking about, but they couldn't do a minor league squad.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? Because this is still a young squad, but Happ is the veteran that's at veteran status, but he's not old. You know what I mean? And it was a great, great idea for them to keep Ian Happ. I said a few years back when he started, I said they needed to keep him. When everyone thought he would be shopped and he was done as a Cub, he damn near was saying his goodbyes. And then last minute extension, and then look what you got. This very well may be the guy. He may well be the. I know they don't assign captains, but I would like to think it's Ian Happ if the Cubs ever did it. You look at a game like this, and this is the defending World Series champion. Now in Japan, they got the Cubs. Okay, it is what it is. But the series
I don't count those. I don't count games played in the United States, baby.
Well, no.
Unfortunately, Major League Baseball did 2 times. But here's the deal. You give them fits in LA, you give them fits in Chicago. Like this team right here is special. I think Craig Counsell knows what he's doing here. I think he's found his stride with the Cubs, and I believe that guys like Presley, Tucker, they may very well have been the missing pieces.
Well, and absolutely,
Tucker, for sure. I don't know about the out on Presley for me, but Tucker for sure. I mean, this guy's again, pay this man his money. Whatever he wants, pay him. Pay him.
Well,
Jim,
and I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement with that. But what I was bringing up on Facebook earlier, I was saying this. Tucker's earned his money because he was doing well on other squads.
Mm-hmm.
He was his numbers said it all, so he deserves the money now. But when I said it about PCA earlier, people were saying pay PCA, and I'm like, guy's a career 216 hitter. I'm like, as good as he's doing now, he hadn't played more than like 68 games. You're doing that stuff. This is the equivalent of Mel Tucker being the coach of Michigan State and getting that big contract, and he'd had one good year ever.
Right.
And that was that one. And then look what happened to them after. It's like, let PCA finish this year out, take the risk and stuff like that, then get him some money. Just don't take that chance, and then he has big injuries 10 games later, and then we can never get him back and do all that kind of stuff. Take the risk after the season's over and just go with it. You can't just keep paying based off of the moment. Remember, I call it emotional nitwit.
Mm-hmm.
You can't
prisoner of the moment.
Yeah, prisoner of the moment, emotional nitwit. You can't do it like you couldn't get rid of Ian Happ because he was 188 at the time. You couldn't get rid of him. So it's like you got to it's 162 games. You can't act like sports judge going, oh my God, we're gonna die. Game 3. Game 3. It's like trade them. You can't do that. I mean, love the guy, but he does that all the time, and with a beer in his hand because he's telling you he has a beer in his hand. So it's you have got to be on it. You got to be just patient a little bit to get to this thing because we want a long term. We don't want more than one World Series. We want 5 or 6.
Right. No, absolutely. Now,
right now,
I do have to get
playoff run.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I do have to get to the this coach for you. I know it's getting kind of tight, Bakken. So if you got to dive off,
I got time.
Okay.
You do it first, bud.
So with this coach for you, I know we did him last week, but God damn it, we got to do it again this week. Catcher Carson Kelly strikes again. Back-to-back disc Cubs for you. On that game on 4/18, he went 3 of 4. Another 2-home run game. 2 runs, 5 RBIs. Bakkens, talk about this man.
Yeah, the dude's a stud. I mean, wherever, like, I wasn't too sure where we got him from. He came from the Diamondbacks, came from the Cardinals. Kid is lighting it up. He's killing it. I mean, absolutely. Hopefully he stays hot too. Hopefully Maya can be the best, 1-2 catchers right now with his bat. He's crushing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know what? I actually had just thought about that. You know, him and Miguel Amaya, they might be the best catchers duo in baseball right now. They are putting it over the wall at will. Jacob, your thoughts about Kelly's performance the other night?
Just change the title. This Carson's for you. Just get it. I mean, just do it. I mean, the guy is awesome, and he's a 378 hitter right now. I mean, and that's after being 442 to start the week from the field. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he had a little quote-unquote struggles, but then look at that. But the biggest thing is, how often do we ever get catchers that are that awesome?
True.
That's true. Remember, in 2003, when the Cubs were this close to the World Series, remember this. It was Damian Miller and Paul Baco, both about 220.
Yeah.
How often do you get the catcher that's over 300? And then I could call games and could be able to all that. And how often do you get? How often do you get 4 guys at 300s, which probably would be 2 guys at the end of the year, but the other will be like 289.
Yeah, like the third one, I could see. You know what? I could actually see 2 at 300 and 2 in the late 200s.
Yeah,
to where it's almost 4 on your lineup going into the postseason, which would be sweet.
Absolutely. That's pretty sweet, and it's like. And really, and I will tell you this. I'll bring up PCA while we did it because I did Carson Kelly. Here's where I pay him. He's a career 218 hitter. If he hits 265, do it because he can build from it. If he gets struggling and we at 220 again, as much as he's excitable, got to remember we had the excitable with Morel. He was so excitable, loved the game, everything like that. And what has he been done anywhere else? As much as anything, injury and all that stuff. The biggest thing about it is this needs to be as I said, when I talk about what I want for the teams, I want 5 or 6 Super Bowls for the Bears. Funny, I know. I want 5 or 6 World Series for the Cubs. I want this. That means moves that make it long term. Not when I get mad at fans, I'm saying quit doing that. Quit your mindset of the idea of one ring, because that's
Right.
what their mindset is. It's always one ring. Their strategy is one ring. I want 5 or 6. PCA being 75 million at 218. That's the one ring.
Yeah.
The 265 and keep building up. That's 6 rings.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we'll swing it on down to our newest segment, and that's the Watch Cub Alert, where we do highlight someone on the minors, or anybody in the Cubs organization, AAA. We've covered different ones, such as James Trianatos and a couple of other pitchers as well. I wanted to shine some light on one Jefferson Rojas, second baseman shortstop for the South Bend Cubs. His estimated exit date is 2026, so he's still in the minors. His stats last year, he batted .245 with 6 home runs and 47 RBI. So Jacob, not a power guy, not a home run hitter at all like that, but he does get you runs. Mind you, yes, they do play shorter seasons, of course, in the minors. But your thoughts about this guy? Because I'm looking at 245 batting average, not bad at all. Seems solid.
Report real quick before I go into that. The Cubs just hit a 3-run homer. PCA. It's 3-2 Cubs.
And then Dodgers are up 5-3 now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I just got the thing. It's going to be in one of those games again. No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, everything. I don't have the full numbers on Jefferson Rojas. That looks nice. Hopefully he's got good defense. My main thing I always look for when you see something like that is 245. Are they striking out a pile? I don't want that.
Right.
I mean, 245, it means usually 245 would usually mean you get lots of homers. He's not a power guy. So, but if he's 245, where's his deal? Is he, if he's getting the bat on the ball, I'm saying this, if he's getting the bat on the ball, like in Arias or whatever, then that number will go up automatically because, the numbers are there. Eventually, you got to get that. My issue is if he's striking out a bunch and he's at 245 and he's not a power guy, then why do I want him? So then I just want to see what the other stats are first.
Just kind of need to see from, okay. And it very well could be that he's getting on base, but others aren't getting him home. It could be one of those deals as well. What about your thoughts, Bakens, on this kid?
Yeah, hopefully, it's kind of watch him there at second and shortstop, right? You kind of want a little bit more power, but we'll see. Hopefully, he can flash the glove and be a little bit legit. Bless you.
There.
Yeah. When you look at something and you know what, great point, because he's a second baseman and shortstop. And I think it's fair to say outside of pitcher, shortstop probably the most difficult infield position to play. You got somebody who can play both of those. He's probably more of a defensive guy, which is cool. Because even though we're seeing this offensive explosion out of the Cubs right now, you do need that solid defender, someone that's going to get you stops and get the ball to the base. And again, an elite defender, a very good to elite defender that's batting 245, I don't think anyone would really turn that down because it's not like he's a slouch at the plate. But if he's got outstanding defense, gets you a Gold Glove or two, I would like to think he would be a great addition.
Yeah.
And finally, our Cubber Dud. So, Cubber Dud. A month from now, in 30 days, the Cubs will still be leading the NL Central by at least 5 games. Bakens, Cubber Dud.
Sure, this division's awful. The Cubs are the best, right? Really, I'm putting everything aside, like my fanhood. Like, they got the best lineup in this whole division. Everybody else is just we're going to have to fix the pitching. That's going to be a reoccurring theme. But I think they'll be 5 games ahead and should still be well in front here. All
right. And Jacob, Cubber Dud.
As long as the Cardinals have the manager they have, it's absolute Cub. And that's the complete truth because every other Cardinals that I've ever seen, the managers figure it out. This guy can't be around long. You don't lose in St. Louis like that.
It's somebody. I mean, living here in Missouri, the Cardinal fans have turned. I mean, they're not even going to the damn games. I
mean, and that will destroy. I will tell you this right now. That will destroy the city, because that city is already in trouble. They need the Cardinals to make it. That's the tough part. But it's ridiculous. But here's the thing: Pittsburgh is basically the Pittsburgh Skeens, and he won't be around long.
Yeah.
Cincinnati got their 24 runs and they're in 500. They're not a real huge threat. Cardinals, we already talked about that. I'm gonna say 7 or 8 games.
Okay. And that is one great point before we go off the air here. When it comes to the city of St. Louis, and sports there, and granted, they got the UFL Battlehawks, and they very well may do something this year in that league. And you got the St. Louis Blues, and even throughout time when you had the St. Louis Rams, and they won the Super Bowl and had the greatest show on turf. But make no mistake about it, the Cardinals are the heart and soul of that city.
You better believe they are. And I grew up 2 hours. Outside of St. Louis, the South Central Illinois. I mean, we were downstate. And I am telling you now, every time I drive through St. Louis, it gets worse and worse and worse. I mean, just pitiful. Oh, wow. And it looks horrible. And the Cardinals dying will kill the city. They have terrible politicians, terrible everything. I mean, they're not building on anything. Their infrastructure is terrible. You need a Cardinals to feel excited. It's kind of like when the Tigers kind of built themselves up. You know what I'm saying? Like when the Detroit was at its worst. Now Detroit's building back.
Yeah, a lot of that's due to the Lions, too.
Yeah, St. Louis is now that Detroit. It is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. And, I mean, look, it's the polar opposite, like even with Detroit. Like the Pistons they just won last night. They just took a game from the Knicks. You know what I mean? Yeah. The Pistons are ahead of schedule. The Lions are back, finally. The Red Wings, but it's crazy how, you got Detroit and St. Louis, and they've seemingly done this. I'm not exactly sure how good the Blues are doing or anything. I know the Battlehawks.
They're in the first round right now, but they're down 2-0.
Down 2-0? Okay, then. Yeah. But again, the Cardinals, they're the heart and soul of that city. That team falters, it might be curtains for the time being. But hey, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to this episode of Cubfidential. Thanks to Botkins and Jacob for coming in and providing commentary. We'll see you all next week. Here's to another great week of Cubs baseball. Happ called game last night.